Okay, here we are. Today is day 19 for the Advent of Cyber Challenge. And today's challenge is ICS, Modbus, Claus for Concern. And of course, we have our two videos associated here. And in today's challenge, we have task 1, Introduction, task 2, SCADA or SCADA, depending on how you want to pronounce it, task 3, PLC and Modbus protocol, and task 4, Practical. So of course, certainly not going to be a quick one today. It already shows about 60 minutes, which is quite a bit of time for a quick challenge, but nonetheless, here we go. Quick overview, or my disclaimer if you will. I'm not a cybersecurity professional. I have no experience in or with cybersecurity, so I'll be taking on these challenges as a beginner, just like other beginners would. And of course, here we go. Today is day 19. So task 1, we have Introduction. And the snow falls heavily over Wareville as chaos erupts at TBFC headquarters. What should be the busiest shipping day of the season has turned into a disaster. Another chocolate egg, shouts a frustrated warehouse worker, holding up yet another Easter-themed package. We're supposed to be shipping Christmas presents. The delivery drones buzz overhead, their mechanical hums sounding almost mocking. Each one returns from its route empty, having successfully delivered its cargo, but the cargo is all wrong. You were called in to the command center, where screens flicker with delivery statistics. Everything looks normal on the surface, 1,000 presents in stock, 98% success rate, and all systems are operational. But the phones won't stop ringing with confused citizens asking why they're receiving chocolate eggs instead of the toys and gifts they ordered. So the logistic manager pulls up a delivery manifest. Look at this, she says, pointing at the screen. The system indicates that we delivered a teddy bear to the Miller family, but they received a chocolate bunny instead. It's the same weight, exact dimensions, but completely different items. Then, on one of the monitoring screens, a message flashes for just a second before disappearing. Exploit V6.66, property of Hopsec Island. Why should Christmas have all the fun? King Malheur. Someone has compromised the drone fleet's control systems. The attack is sophisticated, falsifying sensor data, manipulating inventory selection, and erasing all traces. This isn't just a prank, it's a calculated assault on Christmas itself. Your mission is clear. Investigate the TBFC drone delivery system, uncover how King Malheur's exploit team has compromised it, and restore Christmas deliveries before Sockmas is ruined. But he warned, King Malheur doesn't leave systems undefended. Traps are waiting for the careless investigator. One wrong move and you might make things much worse. So, a mysterious discovery. As we walk through the warehouse control room, something catches your eye. A crumpled up piece of paper on the floor near the PLC terminal. So, a programmable logic controller. Okay. It looks like someone dropped it in a hurry. You picked it up and unfolded it. The handwriting is hurried and almost frantic. So it says handwriting, but then it looks like it's fully typed out. So we have holding registers, HR01 and 4. And we see these little breakdowns here. Coils, Boolean flags. So we have C10, C11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And a critical message, never change HR01 while C11 equals true. Will trigger countdown, maintenance tech, December 19. So you stare at the note, confusion washing over you. Register map, coils, what is all this? The terminology is foreign. HR0, C11, Modbus, scribbled in the margin, but something about it feels important, like a key you don't yet know how to use. So you pocket the note carefully. I'll figure out what this means later, you think. For now, you need to understand the systems you're dealing with, and little do you know, this crumpled note will be exactly what saves Christmas. So, learning objectives seems like it's going to be quite lengthy. We're going to learn about SCADA, or supervisory control and data acquisition systems, which monitor industrial processes, what PLCs, or programmable logic controllers, do in automation, how the Modbus protocol enables communication between industrial devices, how to identify compromised system configurations in industrial systems, techniques for safely remediating compromised control systems, understanding protection mechanisms and trap logic in ICS environments. And we can, ICS denotes systems responsible for, I think it's industrial control systems, even though it didn't really quite explain it there. And connecting to the machine, we need to review the questions below in the connection card. So we will need the attack box and VM. Everything else is going to be a no-go. So let's go ahead and kick off the target machine first. And we have the target IP, which will appear here in about 50 seconds or so. Then let's go ahead and kick off the attack box as well. And that popped open in split screen. So right here, the clock is ticking, investigator, and Christmas is hanging by a thread, and only you can pull it back from the brink. So we're going to go ahead and check this off. And close that here, close that here. And while we're waiting for the attack box to load and the target machine to load, I'm going to go ahead and pause. We'll come back and then start task 2. Okay, here we are. This is task 2. We'll go ahead and pop that open. And of course, we have our attack box loaded and our target machine as well. So what I'm going to do is put this in full screen. Wait for that to adjust. Then we'll go ahead and exit out of split screen. Okay, so what is SCADA or SCADA? So SCADA systems are the common or command centers, if you will, of industrial operations. They act as the bridge between human operators and the machines doing the work. Think of SCADA as the nervous system of a factory. It senses what's happening, processes the information, and sends commands to make things happen. TBFC uses a SCADA system to oversee its entire drone delivery operation. Without it, operators would have no way to monitor hundreds of drones, manage inventory, or ensure packages reach the right destinations. It is the invisible orchestrator of Christmas logistics. So the components of the SCADA system. A SCADA system typically consists of 4 key components: sensors and actuators, PLCs, monitoring systems, and historians. So the first item here, sensors and actuators. These are the the eyes and the hands of the system. I was about to say ears and eyes. These are the eyes and the hands of the system. Sensors measure real-world conditions such as temperatures, pressure, position, and weight. Actuators perform physical actions. Motors turn, valves open, robotic arms move. In TBFC's warehouse, sensors detect when a package is placed on the conveyor belt, and actuators control the robotic arms that load the drones. So PLCs, or programmable logic controllers, I'm only saying that slowly because I know I'm going to fumble on that. These are the brains that execute automation logic. They read sensor data, make decisions based on programmed rules, and send commands to actuators. A PLC might decide if the package weight matches a chocolate egg, and the destination is zone 5. Then load it onto drone 7, and we'll explore PLCs in detail in the next task. Of course we will. Third item is monitoring systems. So we have visual interfaces like CCTV, cameras, dashboards, and alarm panels, where operators observe physical processes. TBFC's warehouse has security cameras on the port 80 and show real-time footage of the packaging floor. The monitoring system provides immediate visual feedback, and you can literally watch what the automation is doing. Historians. Databases that store operational data for later analysis. Every package loaded, every drone launched, and every system change gets recorded. This historical data helps identify patterns, troubleshoot problems, and in incident response scenarios like ours, reconstruct what an attacker did. So we have SCADA and the drone delivery system. TBFC's compromised SCADA system manages several critical functions. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 critical functions I see. So we have package type selection. The system decides whether to load Christmas gifts, chocolate eggs, or Easter baskets onto each drone. The selection is controlled by a simple numeric value that determines which conveyor belt activates. Delivery zone routing. Each package must reach the correct neighborhood, zones 1 through 9, represent different districts of Wareville, while zone 10 is reserved for disposal, the ocean or failsafe for damaged goods, but also a perfect target for sabotage. The ocean, a failsafe for damaged goods? What? Hopefully that's not like quite literally the ocean. Visual monitoring. The CCTV camera feed provides real-time observation of the warehouse floor. Operators can view which items are being loaded, verify system behavior, and identify anomalies. The visual layer is crucial during the incident response. Inventory verification. Before loading a package, the system can check whether the requested item actually exists in stock. When its verification is disabled, the system blindly follows commands, even if those commands are malicious. System protection mechanisms. Security features designed to prevent unauthorized changes when enabled. These protections monitor for suspicious modifications and can trigger defensive responses. Unfortunately, King Malware has weaponized these very protections as part of his trap. So audit logging, every configuration change, every operator login, every system modification should be recorded. Attackers often turn off logging to cover their tracks, and that's precisely what happened here. So we have why SCADA systems are targeted. Let's go ahead and pull this down just a bit. Industrial control systems, or ICS, such as SCADA, have been increasingly attractive targets for cybercriminals and nation-state attackers. Here's why. They often run legacy software with known vulnerabilities. Many SCADA systems were installed decades ago and never updated. Security patches that exist for modern software don't exist for these old, aging systems. Default credentials are commonly left unchanged. Administrators prioritize keeping systems running over changing passwords. In industrial environments, the mentality is often, if it works, don't touch it, a recipe for security disasters. They're designed for reliability, not security. Most SCADA systems were built before cybersecurity was a significant concern. They were intended for closed networks that were presumed safe. So authentication, encryption, and access controls were afterthoughts at best. They control physical processes. Unlike attacking a website or stealing data, compromising SCADA systems has real-world consequences. Attackers can cause blackouts, contaminate water supplies, or in our case, sabotage Christmas deliveries. They're often connected to corporate networks. The myth of being air-gapped, therefore only accessible on location or on-prem. Industrial systems is largely fiction. Most SCADA systems connect to business networks for reporting, remote management, and data integration. The connectivity provides attackers with entry points, and protocols like Modbus lack authentication. Many industrial protocols were designed for trusted environments. Anyone who can reach the Modbus port 502 can read and write values without proving their identity. In early 2024, the first ICS OT, which is Industrial Control Systems Operational Technology, malware Frosty Goop, was discovered. The malware can directly interface with industrial control systems via the Modbus TCP protocol, which of course is the transmission control protocol, enabling arbitrary reads and writes to device registers over TCP port 502. King Malware has weaponized these same tactics, not to cause blackouts, but to sabotage Christmas deliveries by directly manipulating the control system through the Modbus protocol. In the next task, we'll explore PLC, the component he's actually compromised. So what port is commonly used for Modbus TCP? That was 502. Perfect. And we'll go ahead and pause here and then come back for task 3. Okay, so here we are, task 3, which is PLC and Modbus protocol. So what is a PLC? A PLC is Programmable Logic Controller, which is an industrial computer designed to control machinery and processes in real-world environments. Unlike our laptop or smartphones, PLCs are purpose-built machines engineered for extreme reliability and harsh conditions. PLCs are designed to survive harsh environments. They operate flawlessly in extreme temperatures, constant vibration, dust, moisture, and electromagnetic interference. A PLC controlling warehouse robotics might endure freezing temperatures in winter storage areas and scorching heat near packaging machinery. They are able to run continuously without failure, so PLCs operate 24/7 for years, sometimes decades, without rebooting. Industrial facilities can't afford downtime for software updates or systems restarts. When a PLC starts running, it's expected to keep running indefinitely. They can also execute control logic in real time, so PLCs respond to sensor inputs within milliseconds. When a package reaches the end of the conveyor belt, the PLC must instantly activate the robotic arm to catch it. These timing requirements are critical for safety and efficiency. And as well, they can interface directly with the physical hardware. So PLCs connect directly to sensors, measuring temperatures, pressure, position, weight, and actuators such as motors, valves, switches, robotic arms. And they speak the electrical language of the industrial machinery. So what is a Modbus? A Modbus is the communication protocol that industrial devices use to talk to each other, created in 1979 by Modicon, now Schneider Electric. It's one of the oldest and most widely deployed industrial protocols in the world. Its longevity isn't due to the sophisticated features, quite the opposite. Modbus succeeded because it's simple, reliable, and works within almost any device. Think of a Modbus as a basic request response conversation. So the client, your computer, PLC, what's the current value of register 0? Server, register 0 currently holds the value 1. This simplicity makes Modbus easy to implement and debug, but it also means security was never a consideration. There's no authentication, no encryption, no authorization checking, and anyone who can reach the Modbus port can read or write any value. It's the equivalent of leaving your house unlocked with a sign saying, "Come in, everything's accessible." That's terrifying. Modbus data types. Modbus organizes data into 4 distinct types and serving a specific purpose in the industrial automation. So we have these 4 columns here. So type, purpose, values, and example use cases. So we have coils, digital outputs on off, 0 or 1, motor running, valve open, alarm active. Then we have discrete inputs. So of course, digital inputs on or off, 0 or 1, button pressed, door closed, or sensor triggered. Then we have holding registers, which would be analog outputs, numbers, so 0 through 65,535, which is the same amount of port numbers, I do believe. So temperature set point, motor speed, and zone selection. And then we have input registers, which is also analog inputs or numbers, 0 through 65,535, and current temperatures, pressure reading, and flow rate. So the distinction between inputs and outputs is important. Coils and holding registers are writable, and you can change their values to control the systems. Discrete inputs and input registers are read-only. They reflect sensor measurements that you observe but cannot directly modify. In TBFC's drone control system, you'll find holding registers storing configuration values. So HR0 is the package type selection, 0 equals gifts, 1 equals eggs, and 2 equals baskets. HR1 is the delivery zone, 1 through 9 for normal zones, 10 for emergency disposal. And HR4 is system signature, which is a version identifier, or in this case, an attacker's calling card. So coils, we have controlling system behavior. We have C10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And C10, inventory verification, is either enabled or disabled. C11 is protection mechanism, enabled or disabled. C12 is emergency dump protocol, active or inactive. C13 is audit logging, enabled or disabled. C14 is Christmas restoration status flag. And C15 is self-destruct mechanism, either armed or disarmed. Remember that crumpled up note that we found earlier? Now it makes complete sense. The maintenance technician was documenting these exact Modbus addresses and their meanings. So Modbus addressing. Each data point in the Modbus has a unique address. Think of it like a house on a street, and when you want to read or write a specific value, you reference it by adding its address number. Critical detail. We have Modbus addresses start at 0, not 1. The 0 indexing catches many beginners off guard. When documentation mentions register 0, it literally means the first register, not the second. Understood? And examples from the TBFC system: holding register 0, which would be HR0, package type, holding register 1, HR1, delivery zone, holding register 4, HR4, system signature, coil 10 is C10, coil 11 is C11, and coil 15 is C15. And of course, we can see the outputs here: inventory verification flag, protection mechanism flag, and self-destruct status. Then we have Modbus TCP versus serial Modbus. So originally, Modbus operated over serial connectors using RS-232 or RS-45 cables. Devices were physically connected in a network, and this physical isolation provided a degree of security. You need physical access to the wiring to intercept or inject commands. Modbus industrial systems use Modbus TCP, which encapsulates the Modbus protocol inside standard TCP IP network packets. Modbus TCP servers listen on port 502 by default, and this network connectivity brings enormous benefits: remote monitoring, easy integration with business systems, and centralized management. But it also exposes these historically isolated systems to network-based attacks. King Malware exploited exactly this vulnerability, and the TBFC drone control system's Modbus TCP port 502 was accessible over the network without any authentication required. He didn't need to break into the facility or tamper with wiring. He simply connected to port 502 and started issuing commands as if he were authorized. So the security problem: Modbus has no built-in security mechanisms, therefore no authentication, no encryption, no authorization, and no integrity checking. No authentication meaning the protocol doesn't verify who's making the requests. Any client can connect and issue commands. No encryptions. All communications happen in plain text. Anyone monitoring network traffic can see exactly what values are being read or written. No authorization, meaning there's no concept of permissions. If you can connect and you can read and you can write. No integrity checking beyond basic checksums for transmission errors. There's no cryptographic verification that commands haven't been tampered with. So modern security solutions exist, such as VPNs, firewalls, Modbus security gateways, but they're add-ons, not part of the protocol itself. Many industrial facilities haven't implemented these protections either due to the cost concerns, compatibility issues with legacy equipment, or a simple lack of awareness. So, connecting the dots, now that you understand why the OpenPLC web interface showed nothing useful, King Malware bypassed it entirely. He connected directly to the Modbus TCP port and manipulated the registers and coils that control system behavior. That note you found: the maintenance technician must have discovered what was happening and started documenting the compromised values. The warning at the bottom, never change HR0 whilst C11 equal true, suggests that they figured out the trap mechanism before getting interrupted, and the next task will use Python and the PyModbus library to investigate the system exactly the way King Malware attacked it. By directly reading and writing Modbus values, time to see what he actually changed. So here, our only question is, now that you understand how the system works, the mission is yours. Hack it back and save Christmas. So we'll hit check. We'll pause here, and then we'll come back for task 4. Okay, this is task 4, which is the practical example for today. And so now that you understand the basic concepts related to ICS and Modbus, we will analyze the compromised TBFC drone control system and learn how to safely restore it. So the initial reconnaissance: as with any incident response scenario, we begin with the reconnaissance. Let's discover what services are running on the target system. So from the attack box terminal, we need to run an nmap scan. And it looks like we're going to do verbose scan. I think that's what that stands for. I can always double check. And then we're going to look for ports 22.80.502 under this IP here, which is going to be my target machine. So of course, if you're following along, yours is going to be different than mine. And notes we specified ports 228502 to speed up the scan. If you want to perform a comprehensive scan of all the ports, we can, and we can do so running against all ports. All right, so we're going to copy this here. And I wonder if the shortcut keys work in here. Control-T. Oh, it does. And we're going to go and paste that and run. And we're just going to pause and wait for this for just a moment. Of course, it's still scanning in the background, so we're going to see what happens here. And while we're waiting for the output, let me just double check what's coming up next. So, however, this will take significantly longer, so we're definitely not doing this one. And key findings, we have port 80, HTTP, service, the CCTV, camera feed, and then port 502 is the Modbus TCP, or the PLC communication protocol. This is typical of an industrial control system setup, a web interface for monitoring, and Modbus for programmatic control. So visual confirmation, the CCTV feed. Before diving into technical details, let's see what's physically happening in the warehouse. So we're going to copy this here. So we can navigate to this URL, which is going to be the target machine IP in our browser. We'll come back. Still no output just yet. I don't know if I should wait a moment or go ahead and take a look on the, there we go. So yes, we see port 80. 22 is open for OpenSSH. 80 is open for HTTP. And 502 is open for MBAP. And 2 services unrecognized despite returning data. So we can see port 80 here. Next, service fingerprint, submit individually. And then next service fingerprint right here, which is port 502. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the web. We're going to open up the Mozilla Firefox browser. Then we'll select new tab, close out of this. Paste our URL and go. So we're going to close this here. Okay, so status, compromised, disarmed. And through the security camera, you can see that the warehouse floor is in real time. Robotic arms are busy at work. Except for I don't see any of the robotic arms actually moving. I see a bunch of Easter eggs though. I see the conveyor belts moving. And the conveyor belts are running smoothly, but something is wrong. Instead of a Christmas presents, you see pastel colored chocolate eggs, sorted Easter themed packaging on the assembly line, and delivery drones are loading eggs instead of gifts. So the status display in the corner shows compromised. The visual confirmation tells you that the problem is real and active. The system isn't broken. It's working perfectly, just delivering the wrong items. This is the classic sign of a logic manipulation tactic or attack rather than a system failure. So keep this CCTV feed open in a separate tab. It will update as you make changes to the system, providing real-time feedback on your remediation efforts. So now we'll need to integrate the Modbus server directly. And this is where Python and the PyModBus library become essential. Remember the crumpled up note from earlier, pull it out now, and the terminology that seemed foreign, HR0, C11, Modbus, is about to make perfect sense. Note that for steps 1 to 5 are optional and you can just read along with them. Okay, cool. So step 1, install PyModBus on the attack box. We already have it pre-installed, but if you are using your own machine, you need to ensure that you have the necessary library installed. So we can do pip3 install PyModBus. say we just go for it. We'll copy, come back over, minimize this. Go ahead and clear. Actually, you know what? Let's open up a new instance. There we go. So now we're going to run. Collecting Modbus. Warning, running pip as the root user can result in broken permissions and conflicting behavior with the system package manager, possibly rendering your system unusable. Yeah, we'll just follow along. So step 2, establish the connection. So Python 3. And we can see here, Python 3 on Linux. Okay. We have the same output here. So let's see. So I guess do this. So let's go back. And then okay, so none of that worked. Excellent, we have a connection to the PLC Modbus interface. So let's just do this since I'm clearly doing something wrong here. So I'm just gonna go ahead. Oh, cancel. And close. I'll just follow along. So excellent, we have a connection to the PLC's Modbus interface. Notice how no authentication was required. This is a critical security weakness in Modbus protocol. Step 3, reading holding registers. So read holding registers 0, result equals client, so on and so forth. And HR0, 1, chocolate eggs. There it is, HR0 is set to 1, which means the system is configured to the load chocolate eggs. The note was right. This is exactly what's causing the problem. Let's check HR1. So of course they're running a check here, and HR1 is set to 5, normal delivery zone. Zone 5 is normal. Let's check out the HR4, the system signature. So HR4 is 666, which is exploit detected. So the value 666 confirms, I don't like that, confirms the system has been compromised by the exploit framework. This matches the taunt message we saw earlier, exploit version 6.66. And then step 4, reading coils. So coils are Boolean flags that control system behavior. The note mentioned critical coils. Let's read them. So right here, if not result error. C10, which is false, disabled, system not checking stock. So inventory verification is disabled. The system is blindly following commands without checking if items actually exist in stock. Let's check C11. So we run against check C11, which is true. Active, changes are being monitored. So this is crucial. C11 is enabled, which means the system is actively monitoring for changes. Remember the warning on the note, never change HR0 whilst C11 equals true. This will trigger a countdown. So of course C11 is true, and which means we can't change HR0. Let's check if the self-destruct is already armed. And we'll do C15, which is false, so no, not armed yet. Safe for now. So good news, the self-destruct isn't armed yet, but it will be if we try to change HR01 while C11 is active. This is the trap mechanism. And then step 5, understanding the trap. Now the note makes complete sense. The maintenance technician discovered HR0 is set to 1 for HR0 is set to 1, forcing eggs. Okay, C11 is the protection is enabled, monitoring for changes. If anyone changes HR0 while C11 is true, C15 gets armed. Once C15 is armed, a 30-second countdown begins, and after 30 seconds, C12 emergency dump activates, and everything dumps to zone 10, ocean. So the technician's warnings was trying to save whoever found this note from making things worse. So complete reconnaissance script we need to do. Let's create a comprehensive script to see the full system state, exit the Python interpreter, and create a new file. Okay, so we're just gonna clear this one here from our first, and we're gonna paste this in, get into Nano to create a Python script. We're gonna copy and paste the following code here. So copy all this. Holy moly. And then copy. And then we'll come back in, right click, paste. Now we need to save and exit. So let's do Control O. Yes, I'm good with that. Control X. Got it. All right. And now Python 3 reconnaissance.py. So we need to run with Python. Now we have the complete picture of the compromise. Time to restore the system. Okay, so now we're going to run Python 3. And what was the Py script again? Reconnaissance.py. Paste. Run that. Set to 1, set to 5, 666, false, true, false, 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 false. Okay. Based on our reconnaissance, we need to disable the protection mechanism on C11 first. And then we need to change the package type on the Christmas gifts, which is HR0 back to 0. Enable inventory verification, so C10 equals true. Enable audit logging, C13 true. And verify C15 never got armed. So the order is critical. If we change HR0 before disabling C11, the trap triggers. Fair enough. So we're going to write a new script called nano restore christmas.py. And we're going to paste that in here. Full screen this. Hit enter. We got a new file opened. And now we're going to enter this following code here. Holy moly, it's a long one. And then we'll copy all this. Paste that script here. Control O, enter, X, got it. And then we need to save and exit, which we just did. Excellent work. Now check the CCTV. Well, we got to run it first. Okay, so let's run Python 3, restore Christmas. Okay, Verifying current system state. Package type 1 equals eggs. Protection active true. Self-destruct arm false. Step 2, disabling protection mechanism. So protection was disabled. So C11 moved to false, and then setting package type for the presence. So we changed that. Enabling inventory verification, we turned that back on. Enabling audit, we turned that back on. And step 16, we did confirm. Everything was restored. Christmas is saved, and here's our flag. We're going to copy that, come back over. And real quick, let's paste this here. Okay. And let's come back up. So excellent work. Now check the CCTV feed at the same URL we had. So we're going to go back. Load this here. Oh, now we have system restored. If you had tried to change HR0, so what if we triggered the trap? If you tried to change the HR0 before disabling C11, here's what would have happened. C15 would self-destruct. ARM immediately, we would get a 30-second countdown. After 30 seconds, C12 would emergency dump would activate. HR1 would change to 10. Ocean zone, all remaining inventory would be dumped. The CCTV would show the trap activation screen, and you would need to restart the challenge. This demonstrates why understanding industrial control systems before making changes is critical in real-world scenarios. Triggering safety mechanisms or traps could have severe physical consequences. So we have post-incident analysis. King Malware's attack was sophisticated because it used unauthenticated Modbus access, port 502, manipulated configuration values directly at the protocol level, disabled safety mechanisms such as verification and logging, implemented a trap to prevent easy remediation, and left a signature of 666 as a calling card. So the maintenance technician who left the note likely discovered the compromise but was interrupted before they could fix it. Their documentation saved Christmas by warning about the trap mechanism. Congratulations, you successfully investigated and remediated the ICS compromise, and you've learned about SCADA systems and how they work, how PLCs operate, how Modbus communication functions, and most importantly, how attackers can manipulate these systems and how to safely restore them. Awesome. Click continue. Oh, look at that. We get a ticket today. And close. Terminate this machine. And close. And let's terminate this machine. Awesome. And that's going to be it for this one.